Philippines, to be followed by Egypt.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. First, we wish to thank the co-chairs for their leadership in facilitating the work of this body under extraordinary circumstances and assure you of our continued support. The Philippines aligns itself with a statement made by Algeria on behalf of the non-aligned movement. The revitalization process is part and parcel of the comprehensive reform efforts of the UN. I therefore wish to present the following key 4 points on the thematic clusters under the revitalization agenda. On the role and authority of the GA. The General Assembly is the chief deliberative and policy-making and representative organ of the United Nations. It's therefore imperative that member states galvanize efforts to reinforce the role and authority of the General Assembly, enhance its effectiveness and efficiency, as well as its transparency and inclusiveness. Mindful of the primacy of the General Assembly, we need to support calls for greater coherence in the work of the principal organs, the rationalization of their agendas, and greater institutional coordination among them through regular meetings of their presidents, among others. On the working methods of the General Assembly, we endorse the recommendation to enhance synergies and coherence, reduce overlap where it exists in the agenda of the General Assembly, to move forward to biannualization, triannualization, and the clustering and possible elimination of items, and to explore and agree on the introduction of a sunset clause to some resolutions in order to have more time and devote focus more resources on the pressing priorities. Given its comprehensive impact on efficiency, effectiveness, and transparency, the review of the General Assembly's working methods should strengthen policy coherence, institutional leadership, and enhance results. We support developing a code of conduct for election campaigns with a view to improving standards of transparency, accountability, and equity. We also support a set of guidelines to be observed on the initiation of high-level meetings and side events held in parallel with the general debate during the high-level week to be applicable to the member states, the Secretariat, as well as the entire UN system. On selection and appointment of the Secretary General and other executive heads, Resolution 74-303 must be implemented faithfully to ensure a transparent and inclusive selection process. The Philippines therefore supports continuing timely informal dialogues and town hall meetings with the candidates. We further emphasize that the Secretary General needs to be accorded independence in selecting senior officials while adhering to the highest standards in these appointments and ensuring equal and fair distribution on the basis of gender and geographical balance. We also reiterate our support for the proposal to come up with a compendium of best practices and lessons learned on the selection and appointment process of the Secretary General. On strengthening the institutional memory of the Office of the President of the General Assembly, the Philippines strongly supports this agenda item and the increasing call of member states to create a permanent core staff for the Office of the President. This will lower the costs of a new team of experts every 12 months. We also support the continuing request of the Office of the PGA for member states, quote, to discuss measures to close the gap between the number of tasks they request from the presidents and the resources allocated to the office, unquote. We commend the institutionalization of the PGA's handover report since the 70th session of the GA and recommend the continuation of the morning dialogues with the permanent missions, as well as the practice of convening interactive dialogues with the candidates for the position of the President of the General Assembly. Co-chairs, the Philippines renews its commitment to engage effectively in the ad hoc working group. Thank you.
I thank the distinguished permanent representative of the Philippines. Next